Hello, everyone. Welcome to Science Not Silence Live from Glasgow at the COP26. I'm Heeta.
I'm Mary Claire.
And together we're the global focal points of Youngo, which is the official youth constituency under the UNFCCC. You've seen us for the past few days, streaming live from different venues, sometimes from the COP, sometimes outside. And we've been trying to get you updates on what has happened in the day at COP26. Today, we're almost in the middle of week 2, so almost towards the end of the 2-week conference, and negotiations are heating up. There's lots of different things happening, and we'll run you through a little bit that's happened today. Mary Claire, where do we begin?
Yeah, as mentioned, every day has a thematic, and today was Day of Transportation. Very interesting and very important topic. Also part of the head, like the official tag of COP26. So there has been a lot of events around sustainable aviation, sustainable transportation, sustainable shipping. Unfortunately, the two of us haven't had the time to join any of these events. But so today was a lot of momentum around transportation, which I think is also very important and crucial to highlight. I myself have been starting the day after the Youngo morning coordination meeting. So every morning we have a coordination meeting. We have a meeting with all the young delegates to plan the day, to give a recap of what has been happening. Also today there have been a lot of actions happening on human rights, on indigenous rights, on general more ambition. Yeah, we have like
we have special lanyards that were given out today. And this was, if you remember a few days ago, we told you how human rights was taken out of the text and does not have a mention. It was taken out of the Action for Climate Empowerment negotiation text. And so people were protesting, and at the venue, we've had these lanyards, the super nice lanyards.
Written red lines like human rights and ambition. So basically for us, it's an absolute red line. We cannot negotiate if human rights are not respected. So there has been like multiple actions throughout the whole day. So this is basically what we're coordinating in the morning meetings, as well as some negotiation related things. But because, as also mentioned yesterday, today has been the high level segment has been concluding. So basically the ministers are coming in and trying to resolve outstanding issues. And also Youngo was able again to address the plenary. And a young member from Latin America has been sharing about his personal story and what we're looking forward. As mentioned, our consolidated position is the Global Youth Statement. This is how we're entering into the negotiations. And so he had also, again, the chance to highlight this. Yeah, so as mentioned, now the negotiations are heating up a little bit. So we have been actually running around quite a lot today to meet different negotiating parties and bodies and bring our points across, because as mentioned, at the end of the day, we are not the ones who are taking the decision, but we can inform the process. So we have been making very good use of informing the process. Especially for us, it was important to have very strong language around young people and youth-led conference and youth-led actions. And I think we made a quite good job. That it's now all in there. So this is basically what we have been doing. Also in the morning, I have been moderating an event around the importance of food systems in the climate negotiations, and I was joined by a lot of experts from the field, from all around the world, working on various sides of the food system. It's a very also big and complex system, but it's very, very crucial. As you might know, food systems are contributing around 30% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. So they are a major emitter and is a contributor to the climate crisis. Yet they're, I do believe, the biggest solution we have to fight the climate crisis and also really stand up for climate justice. So I had the pleasure to moderate this morning event here at COP26, and afterwards it was really everything was around this was around the negotiations.
Yeah, but I was at another panel today. I was speaking at a panel on adolescent health and well-being, on mental health, on climate anxiety. A lot of different things coming together. It was by the WHO, it was by an arm of the WHO, and focusing on specifically adolescent health and climate change. So it was also a super interesting panel, pretty diverse panel, where we had young adolescent on the panel as well, talking about her experience on she feels about mental well-being, how all of this correlates together with the larger topic of climate action, the topic of including adolescents and youth in the decision-making process, ensuring that their voices are a part of the process. So I think it was a super interesting discussion. We had some nice questions also from the audience, where we had some correlation with some psychiatrists from the ground, some psychologists who were working specifically on adolescent health, and of course young people who are witnessing the impacts and are part of actually facing and having eco anxiety and everything else that comes with the health and well-being when you talk about climate change. So I think it's been an interesting day. And just to get a little bit of detail of what Marie Claire mentioned, what we've been running around is basically this is behind the scenes of what happens at the negotiations, where we've been really trying to champion the little changes in text. Basically, the decisions that are made is all about the language and the text that goes into it. And we were really trying to work super hard to get youth mentioned in a meaningful manner. There was a mention, of course, of youth, but it really changes. Every single word in the text has a different meaning. So we were working super hard together to try and ensure that we can champion with countries. So we spoke to quite a few countries behind the scenes. We also spoke to people who are have more experience and who are part of the negotiation process, who can help us frame this kind of language. So it was a pretty busy day, not being in the rooms, but running between the rooms, running between offices, trying to go to country offices, trying to talk to the different negotiators. And somebody had asked us previously on one of the days that you can do it all virtually, and I was just reflecting back, and the point of being together in person at a COP is specifically this, is to try and meet with one another. While a lot of the meetings we've been doing virtually for the past 2 years, and we've been doing decently well, it's harder when it comes to the negotiations. A lot of it is about interpersonal relationship, a lot of it is about building trust, a lot of it is about trying to just find someone between meetings, trying to catch them for coffee, or just walking by, and getting these points through. It's super hard when we do something like this in a virtual setting, and the UNFCCC did try it out in summer this year, and it really wasn't the best experience that anyone had. It has been extremely time consuming, but also extremely draining to make something like this happen in a virtual setting. So I think with all the risks that come with meeting in a pandemic, with all the risks that do come in with flying people across the world to Glasgow, I think there are benefits of in-person meetings, and seeing that we can really, be a lot more productive when you're together in person.
Also very exciting. Scotland has been signing the declaration
Yes.
as the 28th country, after quite a lot of countries actually signed this declaration on children, youth, and climate action, which is really exciting. So I think we are now at 28 countries who have been signing this declaration. I'm also happy to put it in the chat later on. Basically, it's about a rights-based approach to youth engagement, because, as you might know, young people are right holders in the process. We have a right to be heard and the right to express ourselves, and this is very crucial for us. It's not just something nice on the side, but we do make use of our right, and so we have a rights-based approach, and it's really great to see how it's picking momentum. This declaration we have been launching together with UNICEF and the Children Environmental Rights Initiative together at COP25. And yes, this is really exciting to see. Also, we had the chance today to hand over the Global Youth Statement to Boris Johnson, as well as the United Nations Secretary General.
Yeah.
He already received it virtually, but it was great to hand this over also physically today. So I think in total we had a very good advocacy day, doing a lot of behind the scenes work. And that's why also we would like to introduce you to Joshua Amponsam, who has been championing adaptation and loss and damage related topics. The Loss and Damage and Adaptation Day was on Monday, but I think it's never too late to talk about adaptation and loss and damage. So Joshua, we welcome you to the live stream.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here.
Josh, Adaptation Day was a couple of days ago now, but what was the highlight of the day? What did you do, and what exactly was adaptation and loss and damage championing?
Yes, so the main focus on Monday, which was the Adaptation and Loss and Damage Day, was really around finance, because before COP26, there has been a lot of momentum from the UN and also from the Secretariat saying that climate finance should have an equal split between mitigation and adaptation, which means that all finance committed to climate should have 50% of it being going into adaptation and 50% going into emission reduction. On Monday, it was a big success to a certain extent, and that is because Adaptation got its biggest funding ever in all the climate process since. About $232.6 million raised for the Adaptation Fund, and this is the biggest fund they've got ever in the process, and even welcoming pledges from countries that never contributed to the Adaptation Fund. For instance, Finland, and also US coming in very strongly with $50 million. And over the past 4 years, of course, there was no funding for Adaptation from the US. So that was really significant and changes the game very, very significantly. So that was a big success. Additionally, there was over $400 million committed to finance least developing countries for their resilience, which is specifically for the 46 or 47 LDC countries, which is also very, very important because from the World Disaster Report, it was very clear that the countries that are most vulnerable struggle to access finance because of different technical requirements and all of that. So having a dedicated fund that focuses on the least developed countries was very important, and they also got a significant amount of money. Having said that, it's a big success, but we need more money. And that is because adaptation cost for developing countries alone is estimated at $70 billion per year. So 232 point something, which is the biggest so far, and it's really great, but it is not enough because it's not even up to $1 billion. So we still need more money. But this is to say that there is progress, and this progress have not been seen in the past. So that is certainly good. For young people in our engagement on adaptation, we've also seen very significant process. And I think this is probably the first public platform which will be disclosing this news, that for the first time ever, youth engagement will be an indicator to adaptation finance through the Adaptation Fund program. So every country that accesses funding from the Adaptation Fund would have to report on how they engage with young people as an indicator. So they cannot just report without talking about this. And on top of that, gender has also been included. So it's really progress, because this means that this pushes country to really engage with young people, but also with different gender groups in the implementation of the adaptation projects. And also a big success for Youngo as a community and for the youth movement is that we will get a chance to review projects that are submitted by countries to the Adaptation Fund, which gives us a very good insight into what our countries are proposing and submitting to the fund. And we get a chance to review and pass comments before the board makes their final decision. So these are fantastic wins, and this was Monday and Adaptation and Loss and Damage Day. And I think they're very good progress, and looking forward to more commitments coming to adaptation, of course, more finance, but also looking forward to the implementation of the projects.
Yeah, that was a good start to the week.
Yes, it was.
Inspiring.
It was a good Monday.
Yeah, good
Great.
start into week 2. Another thing that we didn't do, because yesterday we missed out on the live, was yesterday was Science and Innovation Day along with Gender Day at COP26. So 2 super interesting days. Gender has been a big hot topic for a lot of people at COP, and Youngo's gender working group was extremely active. They had quite a few actions, basically a few demonstrations that we did within the venue. Got a lot of attention. There were also a lot of events. Some of them was in the big plenary hall, which is a capacity of close to 1,000 people. And the entire hall, I heard, was completely full. And it was a super hit event, which was basically, we had amazing speakers like Nancy Pelosi, we had AOC, but we also had engagement of young people and the gender working group and the gender constituency as well, which is a sister constituency to Youngo in the UNFCCC. So I think it was all in all a super interesting day. For Science Day, I spoke at a couple of events as well. In the afternoon, I spoke very importantly about the Science Not Silence campaign that we've been doing with March for Science. I had my Science Not Silence t-shirt on, and we spoke about the importance of 1.5, of really, the tagline of the COP is keeping 1.5 alive. And what does that really mean? How do we get there? What is the role of science and innovation together? And then we had an evening reception, which was after the event, which was basically a super small, intimate gathering with a lot of people within the science space. So we had, authors from the IPCC. We had people who were there who were working directly with the science, professors, scientists, innovators, but the whole range of, whether not necessarily people who are scientists, but even otherwise who were part of the event and had interesting conversations. It was interestingly held in a distillery right next to the venue. So we also had a tour of the distillery to see how sustainable it is, which was super interesting to see and understand the different modes of science also outside of the UNFCCC and the climate space. So I think that was a quick recap of the 3 days of COP so far. 2 more days to go, and we will keep you posted on the ongoings. We'll keep you posted on what the negotiations are looking like. How are we, does it look like we're going to get a positive outcome by the end of COP26? I think it's still a little hard to say. No, we're almost at the end, but it's still a little hard to say what it's going to look like. Things are changing every few minutes at the COP. So, yeah, we've had some wins, but we still have a lot. We still have a lot to do.
Yes, and I think it's been busy, and I think that as we communicate progress, there's also a lot of advocacy going on to make sure that we still keep our eyes on the ultimate goal of 1.5 and do as much as possible to make sure that by the end of COP26, even if you don't get 1.5, you get closer. And I think so far it's still around 2.4 based on current commitments, which are not really the goal. So few more days and hopefully be able to come closer to 1.5. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
And all the best.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Good evening from Glasgow, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.